receive a lot from it. I can give back. And you see a lot of kids come along and you want to give back your knowledge, not letting this knowledge go to waste.
Mike Haas for Sportrit.
That's a big guy.
Is the Minnesota Twins, who stretched their winning streak at the expense of the Indians this afternoon. Shane Mack belonged to the night. The New Orleans Knights scored the first victory in their history as they edged the Dallas Texans. The night was marching after an early turnover. Willie Totten sneaks over to cap a 45-yard drive in 7 plays as the night displayed a surprisingly strong running game. Drew Pearson's Texans were plagued by penalties and turnovers. Still, they had a chance before Milton Barney's interception at the goal line sealed a 27-23 win.
It was a great victory and a team victory. Everybody contributed to the victory.
It feels good, doesn't it, huh?
Oh, man, well, that's the first win of the season. We go back to the Dome, and hopefully we have a good crowd and we'll win there.
And in the first World Bowl.
Arena in Detroit, Michigan for Arena Football on Prime Network. The Detroit Drive leading the Orlando Predators at intermission. Our score 28-13, the hometowners. We're in the second week of the 91 season, and in week 1 there were plenty of great individual performances. We'll take a look at some of those and a couple of the outstanding athletes from last week. The Little Caesars most valuable player from week 1 is Orlando Predators quarterback Reggie Collier. In his first arena football game, Collier threw for 252 yards and 7 touchdowns to lead the Predators to a 51-38 victory over the Tampa Bay Storm. Orlando was the only expansion team to win in week 1 of the 1991 season, thanks to the effort of Little Caesars most valuable player, Reggie Collier. The Iron Man Award for this week went to Milton Barney of the New Orleans Knights. Barney recorded 9 solo tackles, 1 interception, 4 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown, and also returned 3 kicks for 49 yards in a game that saw the Knight fall to the Albany Firebirds 45-20. Barney accounted for a combined total of 111 yards on offense. Prime Network salutes Milton Barney, the Iron Man, for this week in arena football. And here tonight, it is DeTrath, who is a part owner of the ball club as well as vice president of the Orlando team, and Mike spent 6 years in the National Football League, knows a little bit about this ball game from more sides than one. Your impressions of the first half, first of all, Mike?
Well, I'm very satisfied actually with the performance of the Orlando team. I know, you know, this is a game, again, being down approximately 14 points is in this league really no big deal, in the sense that I think it's certainly like being down maybe 6 points in the NFL. I think with Reggie Collier, we just got to get used to playing arena football. And this is new for a lot of the fellows in our team. We have a team that's probably 14 of the 18 fellows played in the NFL. And I think the next half is certainly going to be very exciting.
Well, I know our Sunshine Network viewers down in Florida are excited to see this, and certainly the people in Orlando are really excited. You haven't had your home opener yet. It's coming up this next week, and ticket sales, I guess, are going well.
I can say at this point it looks as if Orlando may be leading the league in ticket sales at this point before the home opener game. We know that Tampa had an outstanding turnout for the first game. They had over 10,400 people, and the way ticket sales are going, it looks like we're going to break their record. And it's a case, I know there's a great deal of excitement through the city of Orlando. I know that the owners, Davey Johnson, Tracy Allen, and myself are certainly excited about it. And we're just thrilled with the whole city and the people that have helped us in every way.
We got to go here in a second, but tell them what you told me before the ball game. You played in the NFL, about the excitement of this sport.
I can say this. I said, for someone who has played in the NFL, I don't think there's a more exciting sport in the area of football than arena football. It's absolutely outrageous in the sense that the fans can't be any closer than suiting up themselves.
Thank you very much. The best of luck with the franchise.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mike McBath, our guest. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some stats and highlights. Orlando trails Detroit 20.
Week's home opener on Saturday. Last night they took advantage of turnovers and penalties in Dallas as they whipped the Texans. New Orleans relied on a sound ground game and capped a 45-yard 7-play drive with this Willie Totten sneak for their first touchdown. Drew Pearson saw his team stay close with a chance to win, but that was snuffed out by Milton Barney's interception at the goal line that preserved a 27-23 win for the night. The U.S.
New Orleans Knight took on the Dallas Texans. Arena ball dubbed the 50-yard indoor war. You can see why there. The Knight, led by quarterback Willie Totten, took the lead on this pass to set up a touchdown. But the last seconds, the Texans were driving. Milton Barney saved the day for the Knight. His interception gave New Orleans its first win, 27-23 over Dallas. The Knight comes home to play its first game in the Dome next Saturday.
Let's first up close and personal look at arena football when the Knight makes its home debut. Doug Greengard caught up with the Knight this past weekend in Dallas, and in part one of his series, Off the Wall, he tells us how Dallas has responded to having an arena team of its own.
Game day in Dallas. For that other football team in town. The Dallas Texans of the Arena Football League. Dallas, a city starved for pro football. Sound familiar? But while this city has not exactly been turned upside down by arena ball, not just yet anyway, there are quite a few fans who have taken a liking to the other pro team in town.
There's an old joke around Texas that there's two sports in Texas. It's football and spring football. And now there's a joke that's going around that there's three sports. It's football, spring football, and arena football.
The Texans averaged nearly 13,000 screaming fans a game last year, their first season in the Arena League.
Guys in there going crazy, going nuts, not afraid to yell. Just screaming, being crazy.
Always plenty of action. There's music between plays. And for first-timers,
In case this is your first experience of arena ball, you'll know that this is single platoon football.
the Texans have become a hit. And a new head coach by the name of Drew Pearson shouldn't hurt.
Because I'm not here as a facade or just something to be pretty on the sideline. The thing is, you know, I want to win with this.
I like football, but I just, again, enjoy this much more than I like it more than the Cowboys.
The secret's safe with us. In Dallas, Doug Greengard, Eyewitness Sports.
Looking forward to it.
Debut Saturday night at the Superdome. The opponent, the Tampa Bay Storm.
Knight head coach Eddie Kayat says he's more than ready for his club's first home game. Last week in Dallas, he learned the home field advantage in this league is reality.
Every time we would get the ball and start an offensive drive, the PA guy would ask for more noise so we couldn't hear. Now, that was not a nice thing to do.
No, it was not. But the announcer won't provide victory number 2 of the season. Players will. Indeed, this league won't spawn many Peytons, Simpsons, or Browns. The forward pass rules. A running back can feel left out.
Still, I'm used, whether it's blocking or running the ball, so every play I have something to do.
It's a new page in New Orleans sports history, and Kayat refers to another page in New Orleans sports history when he speaks of the home field advantage.
But I was with the Saints the first 4 years. If there ever was a football home field advantage, it was there. And I'm sure the same is true here in the Dome.
Roe Brown, 6 Sports.
The National Sports Daily will cease public.
And the night.
They come in sport coats or sporting their favorite Texan memorabilia.
Dallas, #1.
Fans of all kinds and ages have turned out to loudly voice their support.
We can't really afford Cowboys games. These games we can come to and just see and have a great time at.
And of course, the Knight making its debut Saturday night in the Superdome. I think they'd be happy if they could average maybe 10 to 15,000 per game this season. I think they'd be pleased with that as a starter.
I'd say. I think they had 9,000, Doug said, at the game in Dallas.
I think so.
All right, thanks, Jim. Of course, the Grand Prix to get on.
Guard looks at who keeps going to arena football and why.
This isn't just another Saturday night for Dallas Texan fans.
Fast moving, it's just exciting. The crowd is really into it. It's just a lot of fun.
They come in sport coats or sporting their favorite Texan memorabilia.
Dallas, #1.
Fans of all kinds and ages have turned out to loudly voice their support. Last year, the Texans led this league in paid attendance, averaging better than 12,700 people per game. And this year, they've picked things up right where they left them off. The best seats in the house, $16.
We can't really afford Cowboys games. These games we can come to and just see and have a great time at.
Right where the action is.
Close to the action, a lot of noise, you know, a lot of intensity. I like seeing the players' emotions up close, you know, this is really good.
How close? Where else could you carry on a conversation with a player during the game?
Wasn't protected. I can only protect both guys.
And what other football game lets you keep the game ball after it's gone only slightly astray? Arena football won't ever become the big show in the Big D, but it has carved out its own niche. You like it better than the NFL?
No, I'll take the NFL, the 3-hour marathons and the long bomb passes and everything else, but this is a good substitute during the summer.
And we also need our 9th man, Dallas Texans fans. Come on, get into this ball game.
In Dallas, Doug Greengard, Eyewitness Sports.
Last week's win over Dallas in a sport where you can practically shake hands with the fans, Knight coach Eddie Kayat feels good about being in the Superdome, finally.
Well, there's no home crowd like a New Orleans home crowd, as you know, and it does help. There's such a thing as a home field advantage in football. There always has been in this town.
Remember last night, starting out as a spectacular as the Grand Prix before fading. Tampa Bay stormed to an early lead with a record-setting 43-yard touchdown run before most of the 8,800 fans could settle down into their seats. The Knight tied the score, but then fell behind in the second half, dropping their home opener, the final 27-17.
Well, yeah, you know, it's always disappointing when you lose the first game at home, but I just want the crowd to know that we're going to continue to improve, and we're going to be better.
Oh, the crowd was beautiful. All during the course of the week, we had a feel that we're going to have a pretty nice crowd for our opener. I'm just sorry that we let them down for this first ball game, but I'm just hoping that next week they come back and give us that same support.
The Knight will host Denver next Saturday.
To New Orleans for the first time. The Knight played their first game of the season at home in the Superdome. The Tampa Bay Storm was in town. Nearly 9,000 fans out to greet the Knight. The Storm scored first, though. An arena football record 43-yard run by big Lynn Bradford. Here he comes, and Tampa Bay was up 7-0. And tonight at 10 o'clock, Robin will tell you a whole much more about the Knight and hear from quarterback Willie Totten. He says next week the Knight promises to do better when they get home in the Superdome again. We'll show you more highlights and hear from him tonight.
Okay.
Team, the Knight dropped a 27-17 decision to the Tampa Bay Storm. The Knight is now 1-2 on the season. And IBS.
I really do. I think it's going to be football. Last night, Tampa Bay spoiled the home debut of the Knight, 27-17. Nearly 9,000 fans were on hand. It was new, and yes, it was different. It was opening night, and a curious crowd filed into the dome to catch a glimpse of the show. And while it may not be fair to judge the game in comparison to its rich relative, the NFL, it's the only gauge we have. The arena game definitely outdistances the NFL in special effects, and it has a decidedly more upbeat rock score. Costume design, though, definitely goes to the older league. Yikes. And while the NFL is anything but non-violent, the arena game is more
like wrestling.
The arena field does somewhat resemble wrestling steel cage matches.
You get guys getting smashed into the wall.
With walls surrounding the field, there often seems to be no way to get out. Although you get a feeling some patrons should get out just a little more often.
All the way, my man, all the way.
So if you accept the game for what it is,
I liked it,
and not try to compare it to the NFL,
It's not the same thing, but I like it.
you'll find most fans giving the game a thumbs-up review.
I think it's great. We're having a ball.
And even some who find it compares with the NFL games they've seen in the past.
It's a good ball game, but they play like the Saints. They fumble on the 1-yard line. They got to do better than that.
I don't know if the game will ever take this town by storm, but I think it's a good summer replacement for the NFL. I think it's going to be fun.
I think so too. Thanks, Doug. And
turned out to see the game, which was won by Tampa Bay. But most of the fans said they had a good time. The action was fast and hard-hitting. NFL, it's not, but it is entertaining. Most said they'd be back next week when the Knight takes on Denver. Quarterback Willie Totten says he thinks the team will make a better showing then.
We're going to put it together, and I think we got a good ball club. I think I'm just hoping that the guys just keep their head up after this loss, and we got our home opener next week, so I just hope that we can pull it together.
For the second time in those 3 weeks, a New Orleans Knight player has been named the Player of the Week in the league, and it's the same guy. The league announced #1 Milton Barney won his second Iron Man award. Barney scored 2 touchdowns Saturday in the Knights' loss to Tampa Bay. He caught 9 passes, returned 3 kickoffs, and had 5 tackles on defense. Well, Bill
Knight battles Denver. Don't miss fast-paced, hard-hitting, high-scoring action of professional football. Be one of the first 5,000 fans in the Superdome this Saturday and receive an official first-season New Orleans Knight drinking cup. There's no place to hide in the 50-yard war. Great seats put you close to the action. Get your tickets now.
This Saturday night against Denver. One former LSU player hopes that game will be a breakthrough in a well-traveled football career. The newly returned Mike Haas has more.
Former LSU quarterback Mickey Guidry has written a book about playing #2. He did that at LSU behind Tommy Hodgins. Now at age 24, Mickey is again a backup quarterback, this time for the New Orleans Knight. Desperately holding on to a football career, Mickey says no.
I don't think that I'm the greatest quarterback ever sent down on earth, and I don't think I'm the worst. I think that I'm somewhere in the middle. There's a place for me to play this game. I've worked too hard. I know the game well. I study really hard at this game, and there's a place for me to play somewhere. I just need to find it.
Mickey tried to find it last season in the World League. He played for 3 different teams. And this spring, he hopes to return to the WLAF while continuing work on his MBA degree. Making just $400 a week, Mickey Guidry hopes arena football is just a summer part-time job.
If I wasn't playing arena football, I'd have a coat and tie on for 8 hours a day working somewhere, and then in the afternoon try to find some receivers to throw to. And I'm working in the summer, and I'm doing what I'd be doing anyway, and I get a little time to play golf in the afternoon, so it's working out fine.
A shoulder injury after leaving LSU in 1989 was the first of many football setbacks. But Mickey won't take no for an answer.
I think that my chance to play will come if I stick with it. One guy can't have that much bad luck is what I always tell myself. You can't always go to the wrong places. But I think it will come, and hopefully it'll come here in arena football. If it doesn't, I'm sure it'll come soon. I'll stick with it as long as I can, as long as it's still fun to me.
Mike Haas, Channel 4 Eyewitness Sports.
Hard to leave the yelling of the crowd in the spotlight.
Well, he got enough play at LSU, though. A lot of people pulling for him.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job at LSU as well. So he does have some ability. It's nice to see, though, that he's preparing for life after football. I think Mike said working on his MBA.
The New Orleans Knight was named the Arena Football's Iron Man of the Week. Barney scored 2 touchdowns, caught 9 passes, ran back 3 kicks, and made 5 tackles in the Knights' loss Saturday to Tampa Bay. This is the second time Barney's been named the Iron Man in the first 3 weeks of this season.
The game, it's
the moves that wall. That's be the main thing. It's good to knock somebody else into the wall, but when you're the one getting knocked into the wall, it's a different story. That wall don't move either.
In the home opener, it seemed there was a wall at the goal line. Several times, the Knight moved inside the 5, but couldn't score. It was a team effort.
21 guys, and each guy says after the game, I made only 1 mistake. Well, it's 21 mistakes. That's too many.
More than 8,000 fans showed up for the first home game, but the Knight did not perform up to standards. Will the fans return?
I think they're going to be back and bring some friends with them.
I think they enjoyed the game, just listening to a lot of them. I think they'll be back.
After a loss, if a guy gets a call, he's expecting someone to say, why didn't you run this, or why did you try that play or something? And I mean, it's nothing but good stuff. I mean, they want to come back and see it. And we hope to put on a better show for them this time.
Ro Brown, 6 Sports.
All right. Denver has a good team that is coached by Babe Pirelli, who played with New Orleans head coach Eddie Kayet.
on the Boston Patriots.
And a very innovative guy, and you'll see some things offensively from his team that you haven't seen before, some different types of motion and some different running plays and formations. It's a tough opponent, and we have to win.
Well, Don King will do anything to promote a fight on
Denver Dynamite. Love these names.
You like the arena ball names? Usually they fit the teams. There is a member of the New Orleans Knight who can't leap tall buildings in a single bound, who is not faster than a speeding bullet. But Doug Greengard tells us, keep your eyes peeled to number 73.
Number 73, Don Tank Thompson, able to scuffle with the best of them. Able to lift hellacious weights in a single bound. Able to consume count them, 4 slices of pizza in a single bite.
Now this is the winning stack. When we lose, I only get to eat 2. But when we win, I get to double my pleasure.
Could it be? You guys have Superman playing for your team?
Yes, that's Tank, the big Tank. Yes, he's a tough guy, and we always look at him like that because he got a big Superman tattoo on his leg.
Despite the tattoo, though, this 6-foot, 285-pound, mild-mannered center and defensive lineman insists he's not Superman. So wait a minute, you're not Superman?
No, I'm not Superman. The S right here on my leg stands for stupid for getting a tattoo in the first place, because I can't ever remove it at the time I got it in college.
So then, why the tattoo?
I've always liked Superman when I was little. I have all the comic books, saw the movie 800 times. Tried to fly twice, broke my nose at both attempts. So when I finally realized I couldn't be Superman, I got a tattoo on my leg. I figured my mom would like that better than a skull and crossbones.
Thompson's the strongest guy on the team. Are you sure he's not Superman?
In the weight room, he is Superman because he is strong as an ox.
You know, he says he's not Superman, but I don't know. I'm going to hang out in the phone booth just for a couple of minutes, just to double check.
Excuse me, are you using this phone?
I can let you have it. Go ahead, sure. Doug Greengard, Eyewitness Sports.
Knight lineman Walter Hausman. Hausman played for Denver for 2 years before being released. Now, the 6'5", 300-pounder hopes to leave a lasting impression on the folks back in the Mile High City.
Like I said, this one just has a little added incentive for me, being how the fact that I played with those guys. You know, there might be a little something under there that, you know, a little vendetta, I guess, against these, not against the players. It wasn't none of their fault, but, you know, maybe just I want to show that coach when he watches film on the next day that, you know, hey, maybe we did make a mistake.
Tickets available. Give Arena Ball a shot. It's interesting.
It's interesting.
It really is. I mean, if you go into it with the right attitude, it's interesting.
It is a little like a mix between wrestling and football.
Right. That makes it interesting.
Automotive Cap.
Many or more turn out this weekend. Former LSU quarterback Mickey Guidry says arena football is still football despite its oddities.
The bottom line is that it's a strange-looking game, but when you boil it all down, it's still football.
So you do it again?
I don't know. It depends on what happens next year at this time. But, you know, if I'm still in school and I'm still working toward that master's 1 semester a year and I'm not going to school in the summer, I'd do it again.
Heck of a summer job, huh?
It's a great summer job. It really is.
Well, Ian.
Arena football is a lot of things, hockey, football, and roller derby in one package. It's not without action. The short field and the wall see to that. Tonight it was the Knight and the Dynamite from the Superdome. New Orleans off to a rather inauspicious start. Willie Totten, the quarterback, but it is picked off on the first series by Alvin Williams, and Denver led it 7-0. Totten right back, though. Go deep to Willie Culpepper, who takes it inside the 5-yard line. Later, the Knight would score to tie this one up at 7-7. Then, number 44, Troy Fields, bulldozing over for the Knight as they led it 14-7. They would trail into the second half, but they would come back. Willie Totten again going deep, this time to former Tulane standout Jerome McIntosh for the touchdown. They led briefly, but Denver was too much. The Knight fails and falls to 1-3. The aerial attack by Denver was pretty awesome. They scored 44 points, but it was not enough as Denver wins it tonight, 54-44.
In this league, you can't give up. You got to always continue to, you know, try to score, because in this league you can score at any time. And it was proven tonight that Denver played a heck of a game. They didn't give up. They they tried to, like they always say, if you get a team down, always try to put the nail in them. So they did an excellent job.
Arena ball filled the Superdome last night, but once again, the Knight got the daylights beat out of them. Denver's defense hurt New Orleans' offense with a high-scoring shootout. Quarterback Willie Totten's first pass was stolen and returned for a dynamite score. New Orleans players struck back on a bomb to Willie Culpepper and took their only lead at the end of the first half on a short TD run by Troy Fields. But Denver detonated its passing attack in the second half and held off the Knight for a 54-44 win. New Orleans' next game is Thursday at first-place Detroit.
Offense in this ball game, Willie Totten of New Orleans to former UNO, or Tulane rather, standout Jerome McIntosh. Denver, though, led 27-23. Totten again, this time to Willie Culpepper. The Knight pulled to within 33-31, but they could not overcome Denver's Mike Hold with the pump and going long. This one for another touchdown. It was 54-44 the final. The loss drops the Knight to 1-3 on the season, heading into a Thursday game in Detroit.
Just keep working and keep the faith. I think we got a good team, no doubt. We just got to continue to work hard, and I think it's going to come together. We're not out of it yet. Right now, you know, we lost tonight. Now we 1-3, but it's going to time up. It's going to come together. I'm just hoping that we can get it together before too late.
To drive three. It's sort of become a tradition around here. It's time for Let's go to it, guys. Let's watch this fan at the Blue Jays.
Seem to enjoy arena ball, and the Knight hope to lick their losing ways against the league's top team, Detroit, this Thursday night. The Knights showed they have quite an offensive punch by scoring 44 points, with ex-Green Wave Jerome McIntosh proving to be an important two-way performer. The Knight may have been inconsistent, but as a whole appear to be headed in the right direction.
I think for sure that from the Tampa Bay game to this game, I think everybody saw a lot of improvement, and we go up to Detroit Thursday and play the best team possible in the league, so we got to be prepared.
Well, there are a lot of points. It's got to be moving fast. Sometimes life moves fast.
Yeah, and people were moving.
New Orleans Knight has an unenviable task after lighting up the scoreboard last week in what became their third loss of the year. The Knight heads to Detroit tomorrow to face the 4-0 team there. Knights DB and receiver Jimmy Young out of LSU put his finger on inconsistency as the problem.
The offense put it together this weekend, and on the defensive side, we weren't out there like we should have been. You know, giving up 54 points is a lot of points, and you know, the past couple of weeks we've been giving up 20, 27. If we'd have had that kind of week this week, you know, we'd have came out with a victory.
Well, we'll see what happens to the Knight. They'll be halfway through the season after tomorrow night in Detroit.
Boy, that's nice football too. It gives us
a lot of fun to watch.
Hey,
anybody who's seen
it gives us something, you know, in-your-face football to get us through until the Saints come in.
It's fun.
Okay.
And they have not been together very long. Give them a break, all right?
No more excuses. Oh, that's the other league. Sorry.
The Detroit Drive is to arena football what the San Francisco 49ers have been to the NFL. World champs. The Drive crowned champs of the arena world the past 3 years. The league's only been around 5. A tough place for New Orleans to turn it around tonight, and the Knight could not do it. It was close in the fourth quarter, only 26-22, but the Knight drops to 1-4 as the Drive stays undefeated, 45-22.
Tonight, Ronceville is next as News 8 Tonight continues.
As the best team, so the Knight, they were not expected to stay with them, but they did. Hung in there until the end, just about fourth quarter. Detroit Drive shifted into overdrive tonight and ran over the Knight. Detroit has the best team in the league and the most fans, 17,000 at every home game. It was all too much for the Knight as Detroit won it 45-22. We'll pick it up from Joe Louis Arena. Art Schleister, the former Ohio State star, to George LaFrance, 13-3. Schleister has a gun. Here, a TD run. Gutty player. He was wounded most of the night, but stayed in there, and that made it 20-3. Willie Totten to Milton Barney, the star for New Orleans. Close through 3 quarters, but in the fourth, Detroit exploded. Schleister to the big guy, Flint Fleming. He barrels in, and Detroit takes it 45-22. New Orleans now 1-4.
In arena football last night on the road in Detroit against the Drive, and were it not for a late collapse, New Orleans might have had an upset. Early on, it was the Knight looking like contenders. Mark Mason with the huge hole up for the touchdown. The Knight was hanging close, but coming back would be the Drive. Former Ohio State quarterback Art Schleister keeping it in for the touchdown, and they had a lead of 6 points, but the Knight comes right back. Willie Totten to Milton Barney, the long touchdown pass. After stopping Detroit on a big 4th down play, New Orleans fumbled it away, and with that, their chance to win and pull off the upset as Detroit stays perfect this year, winning at 45-22.
Schleister is one of these people making $500 a game?
Yeah. The most you can make, I think, if you win all of your games, the most you can make is $6,000. That's top.
And that's even if you win the professional game at the end,
right.
The competition. What do they call it? It's not a Super Bowl. What is it?
The Arena Bowl.
You know, I really should know this, too. I don't know. It's the Arena Bowl.
We told you folks. You heard it here first. The Arena Bowl.
And he's nailed.
Halfway mark. Everybody's asking me, when does Mickey Guidry, the former LSU quarterback on their roster, get his shot?
Well,
Friday night against Dallas in the Superdome.
I guess. In Dallas. Knight did record their only victory of the year against the Texans, though, so it's a revenge game for Dallas. Should be a rough run Friday night in the Dome.
It's going to be a big rivalry playing against them. I'm really looking forward to it, though. I really want to go out and have a great game.
We have a tough opponent coming in here. A team that we did beat earlier in the year. They have improved. We have improved. We're looking forward to the opportunity.
Me too. Should be a lot of fun. I like that arena football. Any football game over in 2 hours can't be all that.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's fun. Go out Friday night with me.
Okay.
It'd be fun. Just go watch.
It's been a while since Guidry got the starting nod, and it's his first as a professional.
First time I've started a football game since 1987 against Alabama at LSU, and before that it was high school. It kind of seems like I'm getting a start maybe once every 4 years or something like that, but I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to playing Friday night.
Since Mickey's taken over, he's kind of brought an extra charge to the offense, and he's kind of brought us a little closer together, meeting together, doing sorts of things like that to go over the plays and everything. And this last stretch is very important. If we win these last 5 games, we can make the playoffs.
A lot of people pulling for Mickey Guidry.
A lot of people have been keeping an eye on his career. He has been like everywhere. WLAF, now he's in the Arena League.
But let me tell you, I was at the Dome today and saw them putting that configuration together. It is so intimate. I mean, it's like the player is right there.
It is. In fact, the front row seats you can actually reach out and touch the players as they bang into the walls.
Sometimes the player is right there on the ball.
It looks night. Their backs against the wall. The Knight needs a win to stay alive for the Arena Football playoffs. Now, there is no love lost between the Knight and the Dallas Texans. Little brawl in the last time these two played, but the Knight did record their only win of the year, so revenge will be a factor with Dallas.
The team that we have beaten, it's one of the top teams in the league as far as the record is concerned, and it's a game that we have to win.
Now tomorrow coming up, we're going to talk to Mickey Guidry. This guy has got a great
And he'll be throwing for
He's
the
going to be
night,
the starting quarterback for the Night. He was in the Dome this morning getting his last preps in for his first start in a while. Like, how about 4 years? Last time he started was 1987 for LSU against Alabama. Now before that, he last started in 1983, his senior year in high school. So Guidry is hoping he's going to get more than one chance every 4 years. The first step, though, is tomorrow night against the Dallas Texans.
I have a lot to prove to a lot of football coaches, to a lot of fans, to myself. You know, whether I can really play the game on a consistent basis. I think I'm a good football player, but I've never played it on a consistent basis since high school. So I'm looking forward to playing this whole game this Friday and seeing what I could do.
We're going to have a lot more with Mickey Guidry coming up at 10 o'clock. He's got a great story. This guy traveled like 4,000 miles, this great odyssey all over the country into Europe playing in the World League. So we'll tell you all about it. Mickey Guidry, it's his first start in 4 years, and he's traveled a long way to get it. The last time Mickey Guidry started a football game was in 1987 at Tiger Stadium. With Tommy Hodgins injured on the bench, Guidry made his one and only start at LSU. It's taken 4 years, but he's finally getting his second chance.
An opportunity knocks at the strangest times, and to be prepared to meet that opportunity is the hardest thing to do. And I've tried to do that in the last few years, you know, since coming out of LSU, and I think that I'm ready for it, and I think that, you know, this Friday I'll do what I've been preparing to do.
Now, Guidry hasn't been sitting around all these years. Last season, he played in the World League of American Football. Well, actually, he traveled around the World League.
I have 2 free tickets anywhere right now on Delta Airlines for my frequent flyer just from 1 year playing in the World League.
Guidry's odyssey started in February in Orlando at the league's draft. He was picked by the London Monarchs, so he headed overseas. A month and a half later, the league shuffled rules and he was released and picked up by San Antonio. 3 weeks later, the league held a midseason draft for quarterbacks, and it was on to Sacramento. And finally, in early June, back to New Orleans and the Knight.
The biggest knock on me is that I haven't played that much. I think that everywhere that I went in the World League, I really impressed the coaches that I played for and was doing a pretty good job. But
It's just like any other job that you apply for or you go for. If you don't have experience, it's tough to land a position.
Off against the Dallas team in Texas tomorrow in the Dome, set for 7 o'clock tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. I love arena football.
You're going to be there tomorrow,
I'll
right?
be there and having a lot of fun.
All right.
Finish. I mean, this is what arena football is all about. At least that's what they keep telling us, John. The new look New Orleans Knight were in search of their second victory of the season tonight at the Superdome, with former Shaw and LSU quarterback Mickey Guidry making his first professional start. The Knight met the Dallas Texans, the team they beat a month ago, for their only win of the season. Guidry began the game absolutely flawlessly as former Saints coach Dick Nolan, now a Texan assistant, looked on. Guidry completed his first 7 passes. This was his first pass of the night, complete to Willie Culpepper, setting up the opening score of the game. Later in the first, Guidry to Milton Barney. The Knight was out in front, 13-7 in the first. Now a wild play here. The Texans with the snap that, well, was not even close. Alfred Jenkins, though, almost completing the pass and making the most out of it. Late in the game, Jenkins to Atron Kenny, the touchdown with 7 seconds left in the game, put the Texans up 37-36. Coach Drew Pearson went crazy, and how about a little kiss? Marco Morales with one last try for the Knight from 52 yards out on the final play of the game, off the crossbar, and good. How about that? The Knight beats Dallas 39-37 to improve their record to 2-4. There were literally fireworks going off in the Dome. To baseball, and it looks like the
Knight hosted the Dallas Texans. Dallas is the only team the Knight has beaten this year. Late in the contest, Dallas taking the lead. Alfred Jenkins to Atron Kenny, 37-36. Dallas looked like a sure victory, but then with the length of the field in front of him, approximately 52 yards, Marco Morales hitting the upright, banking it in as New Orleans defeats Dallas 39-37. They are now 2-4 on the season. They'll play next Saturday night with just 4 games remaining.
Morton Anderson has done that a couple times, hasn't he? Bounced one in.
Bounced one up, yeah, upright, but you know, Morton's were from 52. They're both the same yardage, but when it's really the whole field.
Wasn't the Saints' Morton Anderson beating the Cowboys on a last-second field goal on Monday Night Football, but it was pretty exciting stuff. The New Orleans Knight beat the Dallas Texans last night in the Superdome on a last-second 52-yard field goal by Marco Morales. Former Shaw and LSU quarterback Mickey Guidry got the start. He threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2, not bad in his first arena game. The Knight led by 6, but Dallas scored with 6 seconds left. The touchdown pass there, they led 37-36. But the Knight had 1 play left from their own 6-yard line. Marco Morales hits the upright, and it bounces through. Knight wins 39-37. They're now 2-4 on the year. Fireworks in the Dome last night. The Knight's still alive for the playoffs, Robin, but it's a long.
Arena football players together. First is the need for a second job to supplement the league's meager pay. And second is the dream of making the big payday in the NFL. Doug Greengard profiles a guy who juggles both a solid career and a dream.
Good morning, class. Today's extra credit problem will be factoring completely the following.
Could you repeat that question, please?
Marco Morales can amaze his teammates with his knowledge of math. Teaching high school algebra in San Diego is his full-time job. Booting field goals is his version of summer school. And when his students found out,
it was interesting trying to teach a class there for a little while because everybody was worrying about getting my autograph.
Last Friday, Morales sent local fans in search of his autograph. On the final play of the game, the 29-year-old San Diego State graduate connected on the longest field goal of his career, a 52-yarder that squirted off the upright and beat Dallas. Do any mathematical equations help him with his kicking?
I don't know. I was doing math all my educational life, and I don't know if there's a analogy there, but I'm sure it hasn't hurt. I'm aware of the angles and so forth, which you got to be aware of.
Morales has been in the Arena League since its inception back in '87. He's had opportunities to make NFL teams, but on 3 separate occasions, he was released.
The desire is always there. I think the fact that this kick helped our team was basically what I'm concerned about. I'm not worrying about the NFL 3 months down the road. I'm worrying about New Orleans Knight today and tomorrow.
Just as long as his teammates don't want to be tutored today or tomorrow. Doug Greengard, Eyewitness Sports.
Their 2-4 season so far was highlighted by last week's last-second win over Dallas in the Superdome. Coach Eddie Kayat hoping that's the trampoline they've been looking for.
Teams need that. That's part of growing up and maturing. And when that sort of thing happens to a team, the next time they get in that situation, they truly believe we can do it because we've done it before. They have documented evidence, to that effect.
Well, that's the tough way to do it. The Knight plays next this Saturday night in the Dome against the...
Tomorrow night, as Roe Brown reports, it will be Major against Mickey.
He was sparkling, hitting on his first 8 passing attempts. For quarterback Mickey Guidry, it must have felt like his high school days at Archbishop Shaw. He was a starter. He went all the way, getting the job done.
I think I really wanted to prove to myself and to a lot of people that I can play this game consistently. I've shown flashes of good things, at times in my career, but I've never really played consistently, not in a game, like over a season or over a complete game. I've never had the opportunity to show that I could play consistently.
Saturday's game against Columbus could be explosive. The other quarterback is former West Virginia star Major Harris. In this pass-happy league, Harris went to the air a mere 14 times in one game. At times, Friday morning's practice session seemed like preparation for the Oklahoma wishbone offense.
He will run at any time from anywhere, and they have many designed runs for him. But defensing him is like defensing a great running back.
Despite a 2-4 record, the Knight continues to reach for a playoff spot.
We just have to win each one as they come to us.
Roe Brown, 6 Sports.
All right, tonight the Orlando Predators and the Albany Firebirds. Orlando's Reggie Collier hits Brian Moore, and yes, the Icky Shuffle is still alive, a junior version there. Good grief. Pee Wee Herman going, sort of like that. Albany here comes back. The pass to Merv Mosley. Hello, Mr. Wall. Oh, Albany wins it 28-25. That hurt.
Could be. They needed a change a couple of weeks ago. They made it, and things are looking pretty good after a rough 1-4 start. The New Orleans Knight made a quarterback change, bringing in former LSU QB Mickey Guidry, who in his debut last week led the Knight to victory. In town tonight, the winless Columbus Thunderbolts, led by quarterback Major Harris. But tonight it would be Guidry who would steal the show here, hooking up with Milton Barney, a great pass and catch, and the Knight led quickly 7-0. Guidry again hooking up with Willie Culpepper for the 11-yard touchdown, and it was 14-0. Guidry 201 yards in the first half. Major Harris was struggling here on the 1-yard line. Harris gets hit, the ball comes loose, the Knight recovers, and the lead was intact. As I said, over 200 yards for Guidry. Again, it is Willie Culpepper. You'll see this catch twice. Nicely done by Culpepper in the corner of the end zone as the Knight led 28-3 at half, and they roll. They're now 3-4 on the year, winning it big, 47-15.
Mickey Guidry took over as quarterback of the New Orleans Knight. They've been scoring lots of points and winning games. Last night, Guidry threw 5 touchdown passes as the Knight took care of the 0-7 Columbus Thunderbolts. First quarter, Guidry goes deep for Milton Barney. He'll take it in. It was a touchdown. The Knight led 7-0. Thunderbolts quarterback Major Harris couldn't get anything going thanks to a tough Knight defense. Harris is slammed into the wall here by Troy Fields. Guidry, on the other hand, could do no wrong. He goes to former USL star Willie Culpepper. Touchdown, it was 14-0. Even when the Bolts got close, they couldn't get in. Harris fumbles on the Knight 1-yard line. New Orleans had it back, and Guidry iced the game early. In the second quarter, back to Willie Culpepper, another touchdown. It was 21-0. The Knight went on to the win, 47-15. They're now 3-4 on the year and still alive for the Arena League playoffs.
Livened up the night. Former Shaw and LSU quarterback Mickey Guidry has now led the New Orleans Knight to consecutive Arena League victories. Last night against winless Columbus, Guidry completing 14 of 22 passes for 234 yards to Milton Barney and a nice catch there. Then Guidry to Willie Culpepper, and Culpepper not making too bad of a grab for a touchdown there either. Guidry led the Knight to a 28-3 halftime lead. Once again to Culpepper. That one there was no easy grab either. The Knight rolling to a 47-15 victory to up their record to 3-4 and keeping themselves.
And that will impact
Final home game of their arena season. The Knight still with the chance to make the playoffs, but they'd have to beat Albany by at least 26 points tonight, then win their final game of the year on the road and get some help from the other teams in the league. Tough one. The Knight got off to a good start, though. Mickey Guidry to Willie Culpepper for the touchdown. The Knight was out in front, 34-20 at the half. Now watch this play. Guidry with the handoff, but a fumble. Guidry, though, in the right place. He picked it up and took it in for the touchdown. The Knight watched Albany score 20 unanswered points, but Guidry, who went 28 for 38 for 309 yards, found Culpepper for the touchdown, but this one went right down to the end. It was up to Marco Morales with time winding down. He connected on the field goal. The Knight didn't win get their 26 points, but they did come out a winner. The final score tonight, 50. Since football playoffs this year, but in their first ever season, they have a chance to hit the break-even point. The Knight will play its season finale next Saturday in Tampa Bay. Last night in the Dome, the Knight needed to beat Albany by 26 points to keep their playoff hopes alive. Mickey Guidry looking good. He had 28 of 38 passes for 309 yards there to Willie Culpepper. The Knight led 34-19 at the half. Albany scored 20 unanswered points, but on the last play of the game, Knight place kicker Marco Morales and good. The Knight slipped past the Firebirds 50-49. Upping their record on the year.
Local ownership, it was announced today at an afternoon press conference. Joining stockbroker Mike McBath of Orlando is David Briggs, the owner of New Orleans Daiquiris. Briggs, who will be considered a co-owner with McBath, thinks he can double attendance. As an owner, he thinks he can sell the product because as a fan, he bought it.
I attended the first game, immediately bought season tickets, and started acting like a customer.
He's going to try to double attendance with the fan base, people who ordinarily watch football games. He intends to do that with the help of several promotions, maybe bungee jumping from the Superdome. We'll have more on John Forcade at 6 o'clock.
has spread some roots here in town. You may have read about their money man, Mike Bath. He was on board as a principal owner, currently working out a new lease with the Superdome. Now he is joined by David Briggs, the brains behind the locally based Daiquiris chain, who told us today what he can bring to arena football here.
No detriment to the group that brought it here, but the plan was to get some exposure, but we're talking about taking it out to the 10th power and really adding a lot more of the fun entertainment things that have been so successful in some of the other arenas.
I'm kind of glad. The Knight ends their season on the road with one more game, but now they have ownership anchored right.
Feels it's important the team remains in New Orleans, so he purchased a piece of the franchise. He's a general partner with Mike McBath. So the Knight will be around next year.
All right, a lot of people will like that.
Yeah. Original Daiquiris became a co-owner of the arena team. Briggs, along with partner Mike McBath of Orlando, hope that a full off-season of promotions will add to the attendance and excitement of what they believe is a very marketable product.
They have managed to wed together here two driving forces in this day of entertainment, and that is fun and exciting fan-oriented activities melded around a good solid football product down on the field.
We're out of the Arena Ball playoffs, hoping their pride would carry them through. Well, pride took a beating tonight, folks. Go to the action in Tampa Bay this evening. Early on, this is Jay Gruden, former Louisville quarterback, drills it to Stevie Thomas. He gets in for the score. Tampa Bay led 7-0. Rough night for Mickey Guidry. He gets drilled right there. The Knight did come back in this ballgame. They were down 21-3, but Guidry, beautiful diving catch by Willie Culpepper. That cut the lead to 21-10, but that was as close as the Knight got. Right there, Gruden again to Stevie Thomas. They connected 3 times tonight, and Tampa Bay goes on to win it. Bombs New Orleans 62-19, the final score this evening. The Knight finishes the season at 4-6.
To a screeching halt for the New Orleans Knight. The first-year arena football team lost big time to Tampa Bay.
Brock Richmond, and that's what he's known for. I talked to Coach
New Orleans. Detroit had little trouble, downing them 45-22 as Schleister threw for 176 yards and 3 scores, and the France added this touchdown reception along with 111 yards and kickoff returns. Tampa
everybody a good shot in a fair trial.
Bryant, Hodgins, and Guidry watched others find the exits, but not them. The tryout continued, even if Kayat did at times have one eye on his watch. But for Bryant and Hodgins, word eventually came.
Thank you very much for the workout. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. The 32-year-old man go out there and play like I played.
You got a chance, huh?
That's right. That's what I got, babe. Hey, my chance. That's all. I'm happy as a lark.
But none was happier than Guidry. His 14-hour drive had paid off.
The big guy from Central is really has a lot of explosiveness. He's quick. He's strong.
Guidry was among a group of 5 linemen who will be considered for a training camp tryout.
So far, so good. Couldn't ask for nothing better word from him.
The Knight begins training camp on May 16th and opens the season in Albany, New York on June 1st. To the NBA playoffs now in Game 2 between the...
In the league, the New Orleans Knight held open tryouts today at the Superdome. It was a field of dreams for a lot of players who thought they had what it took to play this brand of pro football. Today's tryouts brought out nearly 400 athletes and some others. They all got one shot at a 40-yard dash time.
4.76.
And some one-on-one work, receivers against defensive backs. With the small rosters in the Arena Football League, only 18 players will be on the active list. The chances of a player making it from this tryout are slim. But Knight head coach Eddie Kayet says he will sign a couple from here to go to training camp. But the majority went home today with a thank you.
I'd like to thank you for coming to this camp. Quite a few good football players who are not on rosters anywhere at this time. As you know, in arena football, we have 29 to take to training camp, and that's it. Look at all these players. We have 29 to go to camp with. That's the worst part of the coaching business, is to have to tell a guy who has given his very best that his very best was not good enough. That's difficult. I've been told that, you know, many times myself as a player, and I understand it, but that's the most difficult part of the job.
Pulling some shoulder pads already. Maybe should have went out there.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Huh?
But it's nice to know that it was an opportunity.
Concert did not go on sale. It was open tryouts for the New Orleans Knight of the Arena Football League. The Knight will open the season in just over a month. There were more than 300 hopefuls on hand for the one-day tryout, surprising club officials.
We didn't blow out the publicity on it. We really tried to low-key it and you know, get real serious candidates out here. Anybody's welcome to try out. We're glad to have them. Give them a shot. But the turnout is very surprising. I guess it shows some great interest in this team. Maybe we can turn them into spectators, huh? Sell them some tickets.
Allie David, written by Pat.
Play on June 1st. Doug Greengard reports on today's tryouts, which was open to just anyone.
Determined to make an impression, they showed up, literally by the hundreds.
Kick. Next. Oh, you got to come harder than that. Let's go.
Some in better shape and faster than others.
How about 3 guys right at 5? That's pretty good. Oh, that's a 4.7 there.
Some not quite so fast.
Put them on an hourglass.
At a youthful 36, Gerald Bryant came from Gulfport to give it one last shot. 25 years ago, he tried out for the Saints in their first year, too. A coach who headed up the tryout back then was Eddie Kayet, the same man who will call the shots for the Arena team.
Okay, go over there. Okay, go over there.
Did you think about that?
No, I didn't. He probably doesn't remember me. A young buck like, you know.
But 25 years ago, you tried out for this team, and he was coaching.
Let's go. Let's go. Chop, chop.
325-pound James Hodgins of New Orleans, now 32, hadn't played football since high school. That was 15 years ago.
So I just felt that if I didn't go out today, then I would live with the thing of not knowing that, you know,
Give you your best shot.
Yeah. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I'll still be happy, you know.
And there was Ken Guidry, who traveled all the way from Durham, North Carolina.
Well, you know what we want. Let's see what you got now.
The former North Carolina Central lineman operated on little sleep today. A 14-hour overnight drive got him into town at 4 this morning. Then he slept in his car.
I mean, I really want to continue to play some more ball. I thought if it was, you know, my chance, I might as well do it.
After 45 minutes, it was time for Kayat to make the first cut.
We thank you very much for coming to our camp. Wish you the best and hope we'll see you again. Thank you.
Always next year. Always next year. It's not the first time.
But we gave everybody a good shot and a fair tryout.
Bryant, Hodgins, and Guidry watched others find the exits, but not them. The tryout continued, even if Kayat did at times have one eye on his watch. But for Bryant and Hodgins, word eventually came.
Okay. Thank you very much for the work. I appreciate it. Okay?
Thank you. The 32-year-old man go out there and play like I played.
Sure got a chance, huh?
That's right. That's what I got, babe. Hey, my chance. That's all. I'm happy as a lark.
But none was happier than Guidry. His 14-hour drive had paid off.
The big guy from Central has really had a lot of explosiveness. He's quick. He's strong.
Guidry was among a group of 5 linemen who will be considered for a training camp tryout.
So far, so good. Couldn't ask for nothing better. A word from
Arena football, June 1st. We hope that you have a good evening. Hope to see you again tomorrow.
The New Orleans Knight, that's our arena football team, will start their preseason camp out at John Curtis High School. Their season starts June 1, but they will not be home in the Dome until June the 15th. The Knight today, though, announced a list of 25 players under contract, many with Louisiana ties, most with no arena football experience except for Glenn Hazley, a two-way lineman out of Abramson High School here, who talked to Jim Gallagher about what it takes.
Being a pure athlete is the most important part, because you have to play both ways. There's no free substitution. If you come out once, you have to see out the whole quarter. So it's like one team's going 7.5 minutes, then the second team comes in. There's no rest on special teams or anything.
Okay, one baseball exhibition game in another week or so. The regular season opens on June 1, so Coach Ed Kayat is playing some serious hurry-up.
We're not going to put in too many plays offensively. We're going to execute the ones we have in and execute them well.
We got an exhibition game next week. I feel that once the guys really settle in and really know what they need to do, and I think we should put on a pretty good performance next week.
Okay, talking to Lionel Bienvenu in the NBA Conference semi left is
roller derby and American Gladiators. It's arena football that both the New Orleans fans and the New Orleans players will be getting acquainted with. It started today, and Doug Greengard was there.
Former LSU standout Jimmy Young is hoping to play his first season in the Arena Football League.
Do you really know anything much about arena football?
No. No, I don't.
About the only experience Young and many of his Knight teammates have with arena ball is that they've watched it on television. Only 6 players on the Knight roster have arena experience, so it's time to quickly adapt to 8-man football on a field that's just 50 yards long, 85 feet wide, and surrounded by a wall. How tough will that be?
Not tough at all. This is the same game on a smaller field with fewer people. That's it. The same game other than that.
You know, for most of us, this is our first up-close look at the arena configuration. I'm sitting in the front row of seats, and I can just stand up and touch that wall that everybody talks about, and then you can see how close we are to the sideline. Young and his teammates have already had a run-in or two with the wall, and they don't like it, do they?
No, not at all. I mean, if it doesn't give, then you give or you go over it. I mean, you could be sitting up in someone's lap. So.
But that's why we came in today, so the guys can get a feel of the field and the wall, because yesterday we practiced outside and guys were lining up too wide, so now they're going to really know that it's a 50-yard indoor wall.
A wall the players will get to know, but not always like. Doug Greengard, Eyewitness Sports.
And the Knight plays its first game and exhibition contest on May 24th in Jacksonville, Florida. It was
Saints, but the Knight, as in the New Orleans Knight, this city's introduction to arena football. Ro Brown was there and has more.
Indoor football on a field 50 yards long, 85 feet wide, bounded by hockey boards. The New Orleans Knight held its first practice session Friday, and for many on the roster, it remains the twilight zone.
What did you tell them when they first called you? They said you want to play a little arena ball.
Wasn't interested. Seriously, I wasn't interested. I was trying to step gracefully away from football.
This new football has old elements. With the exception of the quarterback and the kicker, players will play both ways. Some started crash courses in defense.
The whole thing is in life is go forward and all, and now they're telling me to backpedal and go backwards and cover guys going forward.
There's no doubt this is a different game, one where the players have to sort of relearn the game. But what about the coaches? It's the same thing.
Having 8 guys instead of 11, but you have to keep thinking all the time about different ways to arrive at a way to run a play that we want to run, but we don't have all the guys with which to run it. But it can be done, but it takes a little doing, you see.
And they'll have it all worked out when the season opens in a couple weeks. Roe Brown, 6 Sports.
In Jacksonville, Florida to meet Tampa, and of course Tampa tonight making a fashion statement. Not necessarily a good one. First half, Jerome McIntosh of New Orleans got a quick introduction to the wall. Later, New Orleans quarterback Willie Totten here went long to Milton Barney. The touchdown, the Knight led at 23-7 at the half, but Tampa Bay came back and beat New Orleans 37-30 tonight, the final count. And in the NBA playoffs tonight, it is at the half. The Lakers are out in front of Portland, 43-40 at the half.
You know it's a new team when they show the highlights and you don't know who to root for. Which ones are we?
But you root for the team that has the best uniforms, I guess. Those are some wild uniforms.
Well, that was certainly New Orleans tonight.
Yes.
I'm going to root for the Knight. And Dave is up next.
He has.
Hot game last night, an exhibition in Jacksonville, Florida against the Tampa Bay Storm. The Knight in the white uniforms got started quickly. Quarterback Willie Totten to former Tulane receiver Jerome McIntosh. Mack gets down to the 2-yard line. Then Mark Mason ran it in for the touchdown. The Knight led 7-0. Now look at these Tampa Bay uniforms. Are they ugly or what? That's an interception by the old Knight there. That's Robert Goins from Grambling. The Knight had the ball back, and they scored a touchdown later, but they lost. 37-30, the final score. The season starts for real next Saturday night.
Okay, but what's your gut feeling? Are they going to be a good, solid team?
I have no idea.
We'll have
No,
to
I think
see.
they'll be okay, but it's still hard to tell. They only had 2 weeks of practice before they start, and it's hard to get an idea of what's going to happen, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we sure have a feel for those uniforms.
Oh,
Pretty flashy
beautiful, aren't
stuff. Well, one word can be used to describe
that coming off that narrow loss in their exhibition game, he liked the way his first-team offense operated, especially his quarterback, Willie Totten.
When the first unit was in there, Willie just moved that ball so well down the field, as well as I've ever seen anybody control an offense. And we got out of it what we wanted to get. We worked Willie a half, worked the other 2 quarterbacks a quarter each, and we let everybody play.
I think it's going to be fun. I cannot wait for arena football. Now,
and since this is the first year this city has had an arena team, well, we just thought you might want to take a last few minute tips to help you get fully caught up on what's going on. Here's our sport trend. Inquiring minds want to know, what is arena football? Well, here it is. The lineup consists of 18-man rosters with only 8 men on offense and defense. The catch, though, they must play both ways like real men used to.
Like real men, I think I'd agree with that. I think it's a different type of athlete. I've been around since '87 with this league, and I've noticed that size and strength is not as important as it is in other leagues. In this case, probably stamina would be a very important key for the players.
Now, I'm not John Madden, but if I was arena football's version of him, this is probably about what he'd do. All right, so you got this smaller field right here. It's only 50 yards long, and it's only 85 feet wide, and it's a lot smaller than the NFL field. And then, boom, you got these walls that circle around the inside of the field, and bang, you can just knock somebody right into there if you want to. And then you got this little area right up here where you can kick a field goal through there or something. And then you got these big nets at each end of the field, and you can kick the ball off it, you can throw it off it for a touchdown. It's a nutty thing, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's the part that I think to me is the wildest part about it, because if you don't catch and it bounce off the net, it could bounce either way you go, and then you got somebody behind you coming, might just hit you so hard, and they pick the ball up, they can score with it, just like you.
Arena football has 4 15-minute quarters. 4 downs to make a first, 6 points for a touchdown, but, well, hold on. There's a 2-point conversion and a 2-point drop kick after a score. There's even a 4-point drop kick field goal.
I have attempted a few in my days in arena football. I've been successful and 1 out of 2, which is not bad, I guess, for drop kicking.
Okay, how about a few rules? You can't punt. An illegal procedure penalty is only 3 yards. There can be no stunting or faking on a blitz. Got it? Probably the biggest difference is the pay. No prima donnas here. Veterans make $550 a game. Rookies, $400.
Yeah, the pay is not much at all. You know, you got to look at this as a part-time, just little summer job. You're having fun. You're doing something that you enjoy doing, but you're not going to make a living off of it.
John Madden's job is safe. I guarantee I won't be taking
They
it
don't
from
earn very much money, so they have other jobs, and they do this on the side.
This is only just for a few months of the year through the summer. Some people who are teachers can do it.
Teachers?
Teachers, coaches, they can do it during the summer, and this is a great opportunity for them to try to hook on maybe with an NFL team or possibly make their name known so they can play professional football in other avenues.
Are there scouts out there looking at the arena football players?
Oh, definitely. There are scouts looking at everybody, so they stand a chance.
So what's your prediction? Is it going to take off here in New Orleans?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I think if people just take it for what it is, it's arena football. If they don't compare it to the NFL, they don't compare it to anything else, and just go out and take a look at it, it might strike their fancy.
All right. Thanks a lot, Doug. Okay. When we return, Bill Capo has more on...
So not too much time to get their act together.
They really had a short period before they had to play games. Actually, 2 weeks they had in the practice field before they started tonight's game, and it kind of showed on the field. You could see the other team had more experience. They've been in the league for a couple of years. The night is their first season, and it showed tonight, Robin. It was not a good night for the night. The New Orleans entry in the Arena Football League opened up the season in Albany, New York against the Firebirds. Let's check it out. Night quarterback Willie Totten went deep to Willie Culpepper from USL. 36 yards down the sideline. And then Totten went to a former Tulane star, Jerome McIntosh, for the touchdown. New Orleans had the lead 7-6. The Firebirds scored when quarterback Tom Porras kept it himself. They led 20-17 at the half. Second half was pretty much all Albany. Porras scores another one the same way as the first, the keeper. He also threw for 5 touchdowns. The final was Albany 45, New Orleans 20. The night starts out 0-1 in the new AFL. To another football.
The night, you know, it's nuts. It was, I guess you could say, the night for the night. In Albany, New York, the New Orleans Night kicked off its first Arena Football League season. Alvin Blunt of Albany was taking a bit of offense, you might say, to the tackle by the Knight's Jackie Cooper. They finally got that one straightened out. First quarter, Willie Totten put the Night up 7-6. Here, the 1-yard touchdown pass to Jerome McIntosh, but the Night would not have a good night. In the second, Totten didn't fare as well. Back to pass and sacked for a safety. 20-10, Albany led. To the fourth quarter, Albany's Tom Porras going long. Watch this one. Deflected, but still caught for the touchdown by Steve Tawn. And the Night drops its opener, though. The final count, 45-20. Weather permitting, the LA...
And this has got to be the game to see between Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
Magic and Michael, yeah.
Wow.
It's not really between them, but hey.
Well, but that's what everyone's going to do.
Opened the regular season tonight against the Albany Firebirds, and it wasn't a happy beginning for the Night. They lost to the Firebirds 45-20. They trailed by 3 at the half, tied it, and then apparently ran out of gas. It was the semifinals of the World League of American Football. Barcelona
taking part in the first night fight to get things started. Quarterback Willie Totten tossed an early TD pass to former Tulane receiver Jerome McIntosh. The rest of the night belonged to Albany. They went on to a 45-20 romp. Next up for New Orleans, the Dallas Texans.